All right. Yeah, so I'm going to create a blank Xamarin.Forms application. Blank. I'm going to remove the iOS. Okay, so what we've got here is a standard application and then the Android one, like we had before. Okay, and on the main page, we've got this basic layout. Okay, and I'm just going to run it to make sure that it works. So now this is all good. And what we need to do is we first need to go into Tools, Options, and then scroll down to Xamarin over here. And on the top here, there's like these two paths. The one is for the JDK location, so the JavaScript development kit, and the other one is for the Android SDK location. So just copy those two and put it down somewhere, because you're going to have to add that to your environment variables. Okay. Okay. So once you've copied that, then you're just going to set the environment variables. Okay. So the way we do that is just to go open up your terminal, should work over here. And then just say set Android_home equals, take the second one that says Android SDK at the end. So in my instance, it looks like this. It needs to be in quotes. Okay, do you guys see that? Okay, that's the first one, and the second one is called Java. And paste the first one in there. That says, in my case, it said something like OpenJDK. Okay. Right, so then what we're going to do is we are going to our solution over there, and we are going to add a new project. Okay, wait a second, first stop your application. Add a new project, and the one we want to add is called Xamarin.UITest cross-platform. So this Xamarin.UITest, something that was developed by Xamarin, that enables you to basically run your APK on, or your application on different devices automatically, and then it goes and it tests your application. Certain parts of the application, specifically with the UI. That's why it's called Xamarin.UITest. And it tests your application to see, if it was rendered correctly or displays correctly on all these devices. And it can even take, if there's an error, it can take a screenshot to show you what it looked like on that specific device. Yeah. And save that screenshot somewhere. All right, so, but we have this app1 project now, and we're just going to add this test project to that one, because although it's all in the same solution, we're going to have 3 projects now. So we'll have the app1 Android, and we're going to add the test one now. Okay, so it's called Xamarin.UITest cross-platform test project. So I'm going to call it app1.UITest, so that we keep the same naming convention as all these other ones. Okay. Okay, so it's been added there now. And you'll see if we go to the NuGet packages over here, there is 3 packages installed for that project. The one is called InUnit. So InUnit is just like a unit testing framework for .NET, right? And then just this test adapter, and then it's loaded the Xamarin.UITest library as well. Okay, and this is not only for Xamarin.Forms. You can use this to test iOS apps and Android apps in Xamarin, as well as native Objective-C for iOS and Java for Xamarin. So the Xamarin UITest platform is made to test kind of any mobile applications. All right, but in this case, we're going to use it for our Xamarin.Forms app. Okay, so let's just build it, because I think for us to build it, yeah, so there is it. So if you build it, then it will download these packages, and that's been installed, but it hasn't been downloaded yet into the project, so it will then just download it into the project. Okay, so there's only 2 C# files in this project, and the one is the app initializer, and that's where we kind of configure how it should run, which emulator it should run, which APK it should run, and so forth. Okay, to do the test with. And then the second one that's called test is, yeah, you guessed it, this is where we run the tests. Okay, so to do a test, we just write a function for each one of the tests we want to do. Okay. So I'll show you how to run the tests now. But yeah, I think let's first just set up this app initializer. Okay, so there's a few options. Right, so by default, it looks like this, right? It will say if the platform that's running is Android, then it will do this. So it will configure the app in this way. Probably otherwise it will do this. So this could have been like else, and this is probably like if this could have been an else, same thing. Right, so if the app is Android, it will do this. If it's iOS, it will do this. But we've only got the Android app installed, so we're only going to do the Android part of it. All right. So you can, let's just configure app Android. I'm going to add the startup app there. There's a few options we can do. So the first one is installed app. So we're just going to call whatever that app is and tell it to run that application. So if we call installed app, we need to add the package name in there, right? And the package name is that backwards URL I shown you guys the other day that starts with com.companyname. The name of the app. So to get it, you right click on the app1.android, say properties, and it should be somewhere in here. So this is what we are looking for. That's a package name. Let's just go back, just add it there. So this says that when testing, it will start this application, okay, which is that Android app. It will start that application, okay. You can also kind of do this. We're not going to do it here. So there we said, okay, just this installed app in our project, use that one. Actually, the installed app doesn't mean the installed app in that project. It means that it's the installed app in our emulator, right? Okay, or our automated testing. Then another thing you can do is instead of doing the installed app, you can do the APK file. So you can direct it to an APK file on your computer. So you can just do like a c.dev APKs and then the APK name. So wherever you pasted that APK, so you can create an APK and then point this thing to that APK file. So then it will use that specific APK file, install it, and then use it to test on. Okay. But we're just going to do the installed app since we've already run it. Okay. Then there's some other options over here. You'll see there's a lot of options. You can go through it. What we are going to do is we're going to enable local screenshots, which means that if it encounters something, we can in our code tell the test, the test that it should create a screenshot if it encounters a certain error. Okay. So that's why we're enabling local screenshots. All right, and you can, if you've got, for example, different emulators on your, if you've got different emulators over here, set up, say for example, this one, and you have a few different ones, you can also specify the specific device it should run the tests on. So if you want to do that, you can do that as well. Okay. But I think we're just going to keep it like this for now. All right, that's been run. And that's just the constructor. That's our first test. So as you can see, you have to, for it to be a test, you have to put that attribute at the top in square brackets, tell it test. Okay, and this one checks if the welcome text is displayed. All right. So it puts all of the thing into app results, which is just a way that it tells it to store the results that it finds over there. And over here, it's gonna, after it waits for the element to load, it will then save a screenshot. Okay. And if there is an issue, it will assert and show us the results. So if there are any results that are true, it will assert. Okay. Opening the test explorer. Okay. And it should actually show the tests over here. Now, just before we go on break, what you should do is, we've got one test over there, okay, called welcome text is displayed, but we're testing for both Android and iOS. Okay, and the reason for that is, do you see up here, it specifies to test both Android and iOS. So I'm just going to comment out that one. And then when we refresh this, it should only show the Android one. Okay, we don't want to test for iOS in this case. View the test explorer. Okay, you see it's only lessening it down to 1. So we're only doing one test for Android. Right, so as you can see, this should be displayed. Some of you might get an error because if that Android home or the Java home isn't set up right, it will tell you there it can't find those libraries. Then if you go to this app folder over here, so open folder in File Explorer of that test application. And if you go to bin debug, you should see a screenshot over there. And if you open that up, it looks like this. All right. All right. So remember what we've done with the first test was we just checked if this label, the label exists, and then we take a screenshot. Okay. And then we say, okay, this test passes if that label is displayed, right? So if this is displayed, if we can see it, then it says, okay, that's all good, right? So we get a true result. But what we're going to do now is I just changed the layout a little bit, okay, to something simple. So I added a label on top there. That's just the text that says enter your credit card number. Then I've added this text box. It's called the entry in Xamarin.Forms, where you can enter a credit card number, and then there's a button that validates it. So we're just checking that is the credit card number 16 digits long or not. That's all we're checking. Okay, and you'll see in the code I've created a click event. So if you click this button, then it will show you a pop-up. So this is the click event. It will show you a pop-up, either error, the credit card number is incorrect, or it will show correct, credit card number is correct. Just something simple to demonstrate something to this to you guys. Okay. Yeah, so we're just doing an if there, and we're checking the length of that credit card entry number, and then we're showing either error or correct or okay. Let's call that okay. Right. So something simple. Now I've given each one of these items here a name and the automation ID, and that is so that we can access this automation ID, the name of the thing, so that we can connect to it in our test. Right, so when we run this application, it just looks like this. Right, so when it starts up, it will look like this, and then if we type in numbers, it will show an error if the credit card number is not long enough, and if it is long enough, it will show okay. Okay, so this is a simple validation. Obviously, there's other validations we can do, like to check if it is only numbers or things like that. But for now, we're just checking the length. Okay, and what we want to test in this case is that when we do the UI test in the devices, we want to make sure that that error message, if the credit card number was not the right length, that message that pops up, like I've shown you, we want to make sure that that error message is actually shown on the device that we are testing on, right? And that's what I've implemented here. Right, so there's like 3 steps to writing a test. Arrange, that's just to set up all the views and so on, but I mean, we've done that. Of course, that's kind of the first page that we go to. So that's already done when we set up the running the application. Okay, act, so we need to do something. So we enter the text into the credit card entry, and we're gonna enter 17 digits, okay? 1 digit too much so that we get an error message, right? And then after entering the 7 digits, we make a screenshot so that we can see what it looks like, right? And then after that screenshot, we do a tap, so we tap this button. Now this C.marked that we do here, this is just to get the specific item we are talking to. Okay, so you'll see that that name and that name is the same name that we've defined here in the automation ID. Okay, so just make sure we talk to it. So we're entering text, then we do a tap, right? And then we do another screenshot to see what it looks like after we've tapped the button. Does it show the error message or not? All right. What we also need to do is we want to assert. So just like with the unit test, we want to, if the error message is not displayed, but it should have been displayed, then we want to make the test fail. Okay. So in this case, we say we're querying the UI and we're saying, was there a message displayed, and was the text in the message credit card number is incorrect? So if the text in the message was that, then it will give us a result. And if there's an error in the result, it will break. Okay. It will say, okay, the error message is not being displayed. So it will give us the test will fail over here. All right. So I'm just going to run this. I'm first going to run the application to make sure that the latest APK is on the emulator device. Right, there it is. I'm going to stop it here, and then I'm going to run the tests. So I'm going to run this test now. So you'll see there's 2 tests here, these names. I'm just going to run this one. So right click on it, run the test. Okay, so this test passed. And as you can see, there's two screenshots over here. The first one was the screenshot that was taken here, right? Just after entering the 17-digit number, right? So there's a screenshot for that one. And the next screenshot was just after this validate button has been clicked over here. Okay, so let's open up the second screenshot. Yeah, and over there you'll see that's what it looks like on this device if the error message is shown. Okay. Right, but that's for that specific emulator. And what you can do then is you can add a new emulator, right? With a different, say with a very old API, let's see what's going on there. And let's see if we, I don't know, let's take a Nexus 4 with Lollipop 5. Okay. Probably going to take a wee while to install, not that long. Right, while we wait for that to install, I'm just going to try to just give it like 16 digits, so the correct amount. So if I give it the correct amount, then this test should actually fail because it won't show us the error message. It will show an OK pop-up. All right. So it won't show this specific pop-up here, but it will show one with another piece of text inside. You see? So the test failed because it showed the, okay, this is fine. It didn't show the error message. So remember with this Xamarin.UITest, we're only testing the UI, although it's almost like writing unit test, but we're testing the front end. So we're testing if it shows error messages and if it's shown correctly